Assalamu alaikum and welcome to another episode of Shared Diversity. If you are new, salam, thank you so much for tuning in. And if you have been here before, thank you so much for coming back. Today is a response video from last week about modest branding and content creation without showing your face. And today we are talking about how can you create visual content out of non-visual input, meaning how can you use your podcast or your blog and turn it into a video or an image. Today, first step, how can you create visual content from your podcast? And I'm going to show you the tools and the A to Z guide on creating it, inshallah. So if you're interested in that kind of content, stay tuned. The first step is we are going to use our podcast and turn it into a visual. And the first tool that I wanted to show you is Headliner app, which you can see here, and you just need to log in. It's a free app. You don't have to pay anything in the first months. You get like a certain amount of things that you can export free. The next are going to be watermarked with a headliner branding. Here are different options. So you can create a video in terms of like an audiogram wizard, which is going to be just a sneak peek. I think something like this. It's going to be a sneak peek, which is showing like a part of your podcast in visual form. The other thing that you can use is like a full episode, meaning you can create a YouTube video basically. So even if you wear niqab or if you don't want to show your face or anything at all, you can create a full YouTube video here out of video and voiceover to upload on your YouTube. The other thing is a video transcript, which automatically transcribes your video audio into your captions, but this is also something that you can have here in the audiogram wizard. It also turns your article into a video and so on. But today we are focusing on the audiogram wizard. This is something that I use most of the times. So first step, you need to choose a file, MP3 or WAV, or how you're going to call this, I'm not sure. I'm going to show you something that I usually do. I take out of my podcast, I take short snippets from my podcast that I then turn into social media content. So this is, for example, one. It's from Amina from the Book Nomad podcast, where she talks about a really nice book, and I'm going to drop this into it. Then you can see here the function of audio transcription. You want to turn it on because you want them to read what the person says in the video, which is amazing for social media. And you can choose your transcription language, which is amazing for other types of languages, but we're going to stay with English. Then you click next, and you can kind of like choose what kind of part of the audio you want to have played. I'm going to just play the whole thing, and then I'm going to click next. You can use square, landscape, or portrait. I'm going to use square because we can use it then for Twitter and Instagram. So you're clicking next here. The audio wave that you can use can be portrayed in different colors and in different ways. I'm going to make it transparent because I don't want it to show. So if you don't want it to have it, you just make it transparent here. Now you can add a background image, and what you can do is you can add a background image which is just generic. So for example, I have one about books, the bookshelf, for example. You can use this one. You can crop it as well. But for now, I want to show you another way of doing it, which is creating the visual itself. So we're going to go here on canva.com, which is one of my favorite platforms. And we are going to create a new image, which is social media, Instagram post format. You can choose from different layouts that are here. So you can see different layouts here. They're really amazing, so you don't have to do a lot actually. And we are just going to choose that we enjoy. What do we enjoy? Let me see. There you go. Let's go minimalist, and you can write here, for example, book review. Shared diversity. Every time you download something and every time you save a picture, you need to put your name, you need to put the tags that you want to be known for. So Muslim business, woman, podcast. So you have kind of like your tags in it, your name and all that stuff. And then you download it. Design. And then when you click on add background, you just can crop it, but we're going to leave it like that. Then you click on create project. So, and then I'm going to explain to you the different things. Okay, so here you see the audio waves, obviously. You can see the audio waves. Here you see your image. And now it's going to create a video out of your image and your audio file. Okay, so now it's creating the transcript, and you can add different things here. So for example, here you can create more text. So in case you didn't create the visual in the backdrop, you can just you just upload a picture and then you create your visual here. I'm not using that right now. So now you have the picture and you have the audio and you have the transcript. So now when I click on play, it's going to play it. Most of the time the transcript is amazing, but sometimes you have to tweak it a little bit. So for example, here you have to capitalize the first, a book that you probably know, so it's missing the word no, and then you maybe do this, and then the 7 habits of highly effective people. Mashallah, they even put the name right. Maybe you can put some things so they know it's a name. So now you can see. And you can also change the timing here. So here it's a little bit off. You're just gonna click where this is starting and this is stopping. So we're doing this. And now it's gonna show it at the same right time. Exactly. And what you can also do is you can click on style, and then you can modify the type of transcript that it's going to show. You can change the transcript height. So I'm going to put it a little bit higher. And what you can do is you can change also the highlight color, which if I put it white, you don't see it because the text is white. So I'm going to change the text in black. I like it like this more. And I'm going to increase it a little bit so people can read it better. We want to have it light, so we're going to click save here, and then you will see that the transcript style has changed and it really looks really nice. And then you just click on export, and then you can download your video. So I'm going to show you how we apply it on our social media, inshallah. We have it, for example, here with the sound wave, and you can see the sound wave, the picture of the person that I interviewed, and a title that draws people in. So this is so. I wanted to ask you about personal branding itself. Do you think it is important? Do you have a certain definition for a personal brand?
I definitely think personal branding is very important. I know you talk about it a lot as well, and I love that.
So here, for example, what you can see is I changed the visual throughout. So what you see is after I ask the question, we don't see Nilly's picture anymore, but we just see a background. So you can focus better on the text. And what I also do is that I put a ending visual that gives people a call to action, which is going to look like this. This is how the end screen looks like. So it says full episode on shared diversity, YouTube and podcast, because I have this podcast on both YouTube and podcast, and then people know what they need to look for. This is what you can do here as well in the headliner. Draw the visual a little bit in, and you can add a new visual like this. And you just upload a visual that shows this end screen, and you put it in here. So the people know exactly where they can find you, and you have a call to action for them. Now, the last thing that I wanted to show you is just the different types of things that you can do. So you remember Canva, you can create a visual where you have, for example, a recipe or some kind of action steps, and you have a title. You have different things that pop up eventually. So for example, in this one, I've created a visual to each image. I added one more. So instead of just having the whole visual in one go, you have something that moves, and we know all that we are more engaging with something that moves. So this is another thing that you can use. You can use a GIF maker for this one. So you just put in GIF maker, and then you just click on animated GIFs. And then what you're going to do is you create this visual so you have, how many do we have here?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
13, 14. So you have 14 images, which you just drop in here, upload it to make a GIF, and then you have an animated GIF, which you can download as a GIF or as a video. And for Instagram, be aware that you only can choose MP4 format. So you just download it in MP4 format. Now I'm just going to give you some ideas of what kind of content you can create where you don't have to show your face. So this one we already saw. You have the audio file, you have the title and the transcription. Then something here which we haven't looked at yet, which is only the audio and a picture and no transcription because it's just a teaser.
Today I spoke with Nilly from Words Behind a Smile. She's a trainer in peak performance, and we talked about personality development
So here we have like kind of like a teaser, which is the introduction to my podcast. And if people understand that they want to know more about it, they understand, okay, these are the things that we covered. Another thing that we can do is if you, for example, recommend books, you have the book title here, the audio wave and the transcript. Another way, of course, that we talked about is, and this is all done actually by Headliner app. So this is one of my favorite apps. It's just easy. Here you can see that the visual is changing, the colors are changing just to make it a little bit more vibrant. But the key message is find your expertise. Make sure that you always put your branding down here. So I always put the website because that's where you can get the nicest stuff from Shared Diversity. Make sure that it's always in your visuals as well. And then here I just have found a really beautiful image with a very important messaging. So the messaging here was more important than the visual itself. So I just chose a picture to make the message stick the most. These are the ways that you can create. Here I have other things, for example, as well. So you have the audio file, you have the title, and you have the title of the podcast, so Modest Networking for Women. And then the main message of this audio file is never compromise. So what you can just do is chop up your podcast into the main messages, maybe 20 to 30 seconds, and then create a visual out of it. These are just some ways that can inspire you to create videos out of your podcast. So inshallah, I hope you loved this video. It's just some ways how you can create a video to promote your podcast. And the tools are super simple. They are free and I will link them down in the description, inshallah. Now, I would love to hear from you. What kind of content would you like to see more on this channel? I really love when you give me input so I know exactly what I can create for you, which is relevant and important for you, especially for Muslim women who want to create a personal brand, inshallah. So leave it down in the comments. What kind of content do you want to see next? And I'll see you next time, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum. Make sure to subscribe. Subscribe to the YouTube, subscribe to the podcast. Inshallah, I see you.